From South Carolina Public Radio, this is the South Carolina Lede. I'm your host, Gavin Jackson, and this episode was recorded on October 3rd, 2025, from South Carolina Public Radio Studios here in Columbia. On this episode of The Lede, the federal government remains shut down. We hear what Congresswoman and gubernatorial candidate Nancy Mace told hundreds at the Turning Point USA Clemson University chapter this week. And speaking of Clemson, the ACLU of South Carolina is suing the university over their firing of a professor for exercising his First Amendment right. Yes, it begins, folks. We also have some gubernatorial campaign trail news on fundraising. Who's winning the money race? Money, money. And breaking news, the Lede is racing to Washington. That's right, we're going to fix the shutdown, folks. Just kidding. No. Actually, we've been planning this trip for months, and I specifically picked this week, that week, next week, after the start of the new fiscal year, or so I thought it would be, thinking that we'd avoid a messy shutdown. Wishful thinking, that's what they call it. Anyway, we'll have exclusive reporting, web videos, and of course, TV and podcast episodes just for you. Aww. We're doing this because we can.
Wow.
In fact, no other South Carolina media outlet is giving you this level of access. Just saying.
Interesting.
I'm not saying. I'm just saying. Now you need to say something to me. The Lede wants to hear from you. 803-563-7169. That is our phone number. It's a voicemail box. You can call, give yourself a nickname, or earn yourself a nickname. No one's going to know who would know. Tell us what's going on. It's fall. What pumpkin spiced flavored natural or artificial flavored eatings and drinkings are you consuming? 803-563-7169. Okay, let's start off with a follow-up from the focus of our last podcast, which is the latest on an abortion bill going through the Senate right now. The Senate Medical Affairs Subcommittee specifically heard from nearly 80 people over some 8 hours on Wednesday on what would be the country's most restrictive abortion law if passed in its current form, which is incredibly unlikely. Sorry, spoiler. That didn't stop proponents and opponents from coming to the Gressett building on the State House campus on Wednesday to rally and testify. In fact, there was a 20-foot tall inflatable IUD. You don't see that every day at the State House. Now, the restrictive bill that would outlaw abortion, eliminate any exceptions for sexual assault, and would impose criminal penalties on doctors and patients even if it's mentioned on how someone could obtain what is a legal and safe medical procedure. So just some of the bill right there. And opponents also say that it could harm IVF treatments and birth control based on how the bill and maybe a potential law would be interpreted by the courts. So a lot of ramifications, a lot of reasons why a lot of people are saying this is the most restrictive bill in the country. Now, the subcommittee, which was made up of 6 Republicans, including chairman and bill author Richard Cash of Anderson, and 3 Democrats, including Senate Minority Leader Brad Hutto. That all-male subcommittee did not take any action after the hearing, and the bill remains in the subcommittee. Another hearing is expected that will deal with amendments to the bill. So we'll see what changes, if any, come forward and get adopted. So stay tuned. Moving on up to Clemson, 1st District Republican Congresswoman and gubernatorial candidate Nancy Mace spoke to more than 350 students at the Turning Point USA Clemson University chapter meeting this past week. Under some heavy security, might I add. And she was also there in her role as Congresswoman. This was not a campaign event. And again, this came nearly a month after Charlie Kirk's assassination on September 10th. Kirk was the founder of Turning Point USA. Now, Mace started off her remarks with a prayer and then shared her own religious journey and what it's been like since the assassination of Kirk. And apologies for the subpar audio here, but my little tiny microphone on the podium did a great job picking up Mace's clanking bracelets.
About 6 years ago, it was 2019, and I had just walked into church for the first time in a very long time. And I didn't spontaneously combust. And I was going through not my first divorce, but my second. I don't recommend it. When you find your life partner, stay committed and stay in that relationship. And I was going through my second divorce, and I was just in church for the first time. It was a Saturday night, And the preacher was preaching on the verse I just prayed over, Jeremiah 6:16, about being at a crossroads and choosing the right way, because I was lost. So often we get lost. We get into these tunnels, we get into these valleys, we get into these ditches, and we don't know what end is up. We don't know the right way. And my daughter was really little, and she was in like the kids' care, and I had my oldest with me who was 12, and he put his little arm around me and he's like, "Mommy, I love you. It's going to be okay. We're going to be okay." And that was the first time I really gave my life to Christ. And I've been in church as much as I can every Sunday for the last 6 years, but it's not more about being in church. It's about following in his path. And we're not perfect. Y'all have seen me curse sometimes. I love Jesus, but I do curse a little from time to time. But what I have seen in the last 3 weeks since Charlie's murder, the revival, young people praying on TikTok, young people talking about what they believe in, young people having aspirations for the future. I have to tell you, an old woman like me, I'm almost 50, you all, this young generation in front of me, sitting in this room right now, have given me so much hope for the future. So I gotta tell you, we were worried for a while. And what I have seen you all come together in your communities, I've seen so many people coming into church. I've seen so many people, 121,000, I think at last count, students reached out to Turning Point to ask to start a chapter on a college or high school campus. Like, this moment isn't stalling. This is a movement, and it is fueled by young people like you.
Mace also made a little joke about what she would want in the Trump presidential library. And this was prompted by her interview with George Stephanopoulos that resulted in a $50 million settlement with Trump over defamation claims. And that money is going to be going toward the presidential library in the future. Take a listen.
I am a rape survivor. When Donald Trump was accused of rape, and I was sitting on the George Stephanopoulos program on ABC, and he defamed him 10 times over in a 10-minute interview, Donald Trump won a $15 million lawsuit for my interview. I don't want a commission. My joke is I would be great. But that interview, he won $15 million. He's going to help build the presidential library with that money. I just want like a name over the women's bathroom that says a Nancy Mace bathroom. Because I've been fighting for women and girls for a long time. I recently learned last year that we have college campuses where men dressed as women can show up and use the locker room or be part of the women's dormitory, that sort of thing. So I've been fighting for women and girls' causes, getting men out of women's sports for a long time.
Mace then fielded several questions from students involving the constitutionality of Trump's actions, what to do about foreigners, her stance on LGBTQ issues, and how to improve healthcare costs. Now, I would have included some of this because the questions and responses were incredibly fascinating in the year of our Lord 2025. Alas, while the venue was fantastic, you heard the audio was not, and it was actually worse and more reverby during this portion. So instead, I'm going to bring you part of the press gaggle where I focused my questions on that current abortion bill going through the Senate committee process and if a future Governor Mace would sign something like that.
Exceptions for rape, incest, and life of the mother have to be on any bill that would come to my desk as governor.
And do you think that maybe needs to be the message that gets through the Senate? I mean, why are they still having these discussions about things like that?
They have the same debate every year. We had one of the most conservative abortion laws on the books in the entire country. And anyone that wants to take that away from a young girl who was raped by a family member, I can't understand why, as a rape survivor myself. So I've got the same stance as I always have.
And Congresswoman, but to your fellow Republicans, I mean, that message doesn't seem to be getting through. So what's your message maybe to the senators who keep pushing to have these hearings and finding that they don't go anywhere?
Well, when I'm governor, we will have a list of priorities that we're going to tackle. We already have one of the most conservative bills on the books on this in the country. We need to get to a 0% state income tax in the next 3 to 5 years. I have a plan for that. People are struggling to pay their groceries and the cost of living and inflation. We need a plan for roads and bridges and infrastructure. I've got that too. We need a plan for crime and all the illegal aliens who are here. So those will be my priorities when we're governor.
Mace also weighed in on the government shutdown that is currently on day 3. The House has not been in session since September 19th after it passed its own continuing resolution bill to the Senate and then was off for the Yom Kippur holiday last week and has yet to return until the Senate sends something back, which it hasn't been able to do since the chamber can't get the required 60-vote minimum. But here's Mace on the shutdown.
My issue is right now I'm foregoing my pay because our troops aren't getting paid. And if our troops aren't getting paid, no member of Congress should be paid right now. And we've got women and kids who aren't going to get food stamps, who are not going to be able to get food on the table. And this is what they've done. And we have passed 13 clean CRs or 13 clean continuing resolutions 13 times when Biden was president. And we can't do it now just because they don't like Trump. It's ridiculous. It's stupid, and next year in the midterms, Republicans are going to win majorly because of the mistakes that Democrats are making right now. This is not where people are. 76% of Democrats don't want to shut down, and the Democrats just shut it down.
And a note on the shutdown, I just took this straight from the Politico Playbook PM newsletter because it really sums things up. But the Affordable Care Act tax credits in question that Democrats want reapproved or a commitment to do so are extremely popular. In fact, a new KFF poll shows that Americans want Congress to extend the expiring enhanced credits by a whopping margin of 78 to 22%. The subsidies disproportionately benefit Republican congressional districts, according to Bloomberg's Caitlin Riley. But meanwhile, the NRCC is encouraging Republicans to lean harder into the very misleading, largely debunked claim that Democrats are seeking health care money for undocumented immigrants. This, according to the Washington Examiner's Rachel Schilke. We will be catching up with Congresswoman Mace and nearly our entire delegation next week. Stay tuned. Come shutdown or grand reopening, we're going to be there. But I also want to bring a quick comment from Charlie Clontz. He's the president of TPUSA Clemson about what his organization has seen since the death of founder Charlie Kirk.
It's been really inspiring. Seeing how many people touched by Charlie Kirk's message is truly inspiring. I mean, we've gone from around 250 people in our group me to over 1,000 at this point in time. We've gained over 8,000 on Instagram. We're one of the biggest chapters in the country right now. The sport's been unbelievable. Although it was a tragedy, we're hoping to make the best out of it, what happened.
Speaking of Clemson and free speech, the ACLU of South Carolina said it's suing Clemson University for violating the First Amendment based on its decision to fire a faculty member for a Facebook post that was critical of the late conservative pundit Charlie Kirk. The case seeks Dr. Joshua Brege's reinstatement, a correction of his personnel records, and monetary damages. The suit was filed Friday in U.S. District Court. We all knew this was coming, didn't we? Alan Cheney, legal director for the ACLU of South Carolina, said in a statement, quote, "The First Amendment protects the rights of public employees to speak in their personal capacity on important public topics. When it comes to free speech, Clemson isn't allowed to cave to the whims of a political mob. Fortunately for us all, the Constitution is made of sterner stuff than that," quote. Dr. Brege worked as an assistant professor in Clemson's Department of Environmental Engineering and Earth Sciences from January 2023 until his firing in September 2025. Now for some background, and again, these are going to be quotes from him, not from me. Brege said in a post, quote, "Let me preface this post by saying that violence is never okay, and as much as I dislike someone and their cruel ideas, I would never want their life to be taken in an act of violence. Democracy should be built on ideas, not force. But I am going to say this. If anyone thinks that a reasonable price for the Second Amendment is countless innocent lives, and then that person has the cold-heartedness and audacity to say that empathy is likened to a social disease, they will get no protracted sympathy from me. Unfriend me if you don't like hearing this simple truth. I'll never advocate for violence in any form, but it sounds to me like karma is something swift and ironic. As Kirk said, quote, play certain games, win certain prizes, quote, and Brege's quote entirely. So again, me reading part of Brege's post that led to his firing, and now the ACLU is suing Clemson over that in federal court. So we will be following that case, and I think, 40 other cases around the country that are going to be related to this. So we'll see. Free speech. Next up, campaign finance update.
2026 watch.
Yes, money, money, money. Candidates running for office must file quarterly campaign reports with the State Ethics Commission. And we are still waiting on official numbers, which will come on October 10th from the third quarter, which spans July through September. And that was, of course, when you remember everyone jumped in the governor's race pretty much. But some eager beavers have already shared their fundraising numbers with us. Congresswoman Mace reported that she has raised over $1 million. Her campaign said that amount was raised in just 8 weeks, fueled by more than 19,000 small dollar donations. Mace also said that no money has been transferred from other campaigns or accounts, and she's not self-funding or loaning herself any money. Straight up cool $1 million. But it's a different story for Congressman Ralph Norman, who cut himself a $500,000 check, or loan, however you want to say it, but that's just some money in the bank there. Of course, there's no need to touch that little cushion because he raised $800,000 in the first 65 days of his campaign. Right now, the campaign says it has $1.1 million on hand. Some walking around money during this campaign trail season. Now, Lieutenant Governor Pamela Evette announced more than $1 million in campaign commitments in the first 24 hours following her July 14th launch. We've talked about that a lot. It doesn't hurt that she has South Carolina's richest woman, Anita Zucker, as part of her finance committee, as well as Bill and Linda Stern, some big money folks in the world of South Carolina politics. There's also about 3 dozen other folks on her finance committee. I'm sure they're all worth more than $1 million, but I don't have the time to do a little Forbes list for you. But if you're one of those millionaires, A, do you got to donate? B, this is not a quid pro quo. C, give us a call, 803-563-7169. We're still waiting on Evette's final numbers, though, so we'll see about that. And, of course, we're also waiting on numbers from Attorney General Alan Wilson, who has been fundraising since his launch in late June. We expect to see more campaign action from Wilson this fall. And we're still waiting to hear from Spartanburg Senator Josh Kimbrell and the Democrat Mullins McLeod. We shall see October 10th. And we wrap up with our final installment from Scott Morgan's look back on the year anniversary of Hurricane Helene, which ravaged our state. And yes, this is also the 10-year anniversary of the 1,000-year flood. Here's Scott's final piece.
When Hurricane Helene turned north in the Gulf of Mexico last year, it drove straight through Saluda County on its way to the Blue Ridge Mountains. The destruction to the county's trees and natural spaces was maybe the worst in the state. And even the world immediately surrounding Saluda County did not know that. Josh Morton is the county's emergency management director.
3-4 weeks out, I would have other emergency managers from neighboring counties that would come into our county for some reason, and they would say, wow, I did not realize how bad y'all got hit.
And one of the reasons no one knew is because no media covers Saluda County. The closest thing it has to news are Facebook pages. And what they were posting online didn't sit well with emergency response crews, who had just lost 2 of their own.
That morning, after we discovered that we had the missing fire truck, me and 2 other people left here trying to see if we could get to them. And where they were was only maybe 5 miles from here, and we could not get there.
They were trying to reach Fire Chief Chad Satcher and Fireman Landon Bodie. Satcher and Bodie had been killed by a fallen tree on the morning of September 27th, and they are the only line-of-duty deaths in South Carolina because of Helene.
One of our local Facebook journalists, I'm trying to be kind with that term, gets on and puts out a call for everyone that has a 4-wheel drive vehicle and a chainsaw to please go out and start helping our first responders clear the roads.
And that was while the storm was still going on.
It's all very well-intentioned, but the problem is when you don't have all the facts, it really creates a lot more problems than solutions.
Morton says the absence of information when information is needed makes people want to turn to any source that seems to be saying something. But there's a reason he says that officials weren't saying much about Helene.
Our information that we put out is probably the most reliable, but again, it's not always based on a full picture.
And what Saluda County could get out to residents in the days after the storm couldn't go out electronically.
Internet was not really accessible to most people.
Rachel Porter is Saluda County's public information officer.
And there were a lot of people who we would talk to outside, and they were like, I can't get on Facebook, I can't get online, I have no idea what's happening. So I sat here and I printed off, I don't know how many 100 flyers in English and Spanish, and I drove them all around the county to the places that were open. People were like, man, it's like a newspaper delivery.
The County Office of Emergency Management does use code red to blast emergency information to cell phones, but that still requires cell phones to be able to get texts, which a lot were not able to do following Helene.
We are applying for a grant right now to install community information hubs. And basically these are going to be 10 locations throughout the county that will have weatherproof billboards and that type of thing where people can go to get information.
What Josh Morton and Rachel Porter say they hope residents realize following Helene is that the government is just a bunch of people. In Saluda County, they're the same people you see at the stores and the restaurants and in the church pews. And so before assuming the worst in the absence of real information, it might be better to assume that your neighbors are working hard to make sure they don't tell you things that could actually get you killed.
You can find that report and more at southcarolinapublicradio.org. Welcome to the wind down section, our little break from the news. We're glad you're here with us, along with A.T. Shire, lead podcast producer.
Hello, everyone. I am here. Yes, happy weekend.
The weekend is here.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Here. The weekend.
Ladies and gentlemen, the weekend. That's Daniel Craig. That's 007. Okay? Yeah. Well, Gavin, we got a call to end the week. Doesn't that just sound so good? Doesn't that just put you in a great TGIF mood? I know it's F for us, but TGIS for you guys, okay?
Yes.
Thank God it's the South Carolina Lede.
Yes.
Anyway, Gavin, here's our call. Are you ready?
Hit that button.
Hey, guys. This is Michelle calling from Greenville, South Carolina. Heard your podcast yesterday. I love it. Thank you for informing us about that abortion bill that's going through. Don't want to talk politics. I wanted to call you with the good news. Pumpkin spice moon pies. I found them at the Dollar Tree. They're not the big ones from the old days. It's the mini ones. Even my granddaughter's addicted to them. They are delicious. They don't taste anything like pumpkins, but they're moon pies with marshmallows. Anyway, wanted to throw that at you. Yes, I'm from Greenville, South Carolina. Listen to your podcast because I don't get all the Columbia news that I need to get up here in the Clemson area. So anyway, thank you. Love your podcast and keep it real. Thank you.
Hey, Michelle, and hashtag that Greenville. We'd love to hear from you. Love that we are a news source for you. And we love hearing about, we just asked people to give us their pumpkin spice, and she just dumped
Amazing.
The moon pies. Whoopie pies.
I've never had a moon pie. They gotta be
dry.
They gotta be
kind of dry. It's not like an oatmeal, little Deb oatmeal pie.
I do love that you just straight up say does not taste like pumpkin at all. How does it differ from the normal one then?
Normal one is just chocolate.
Oh, it's chocolate. So this one is orange.
It's chocolate.
Brown. Okay.
It started back in 1917 by Earl Mitchell.
Wow. Yeah,
I did Chattanooga Bakery. We've been to Chattanooga.
We've been to the Nuke.
After a Kentucky coal miner requested a marshmallow and graham cracker snack.
This sounds just like
precursor to a s'more.
Mad Libs right here.
I'm reading
Americana.
I'm reading what AI has told me. AI is not that bad, folks.
It's okay.
Let it take your job. Thank you for calling, Michelle. One job AI can't take, as far as I can tell right now, is brushing my teeth.
No. Yeah.
And if you hate brushing your teeth as much as I do, subscribe.
Give us a call.
What are the podcast advertisers like?
MeUndies.
You can subscribe to MeUndies.
Yeah.
Or what's like the
BetterHelp.
Aren't you guys glad that we don't have ads? Anyway, we should. We'd be more credible, I think. Never mind. I say all this to say that brushing your teeth is a pain, right? We can all agree on that,
There's
folks.
not enough.
Sometimes I don't like to even brush my teeth.
Not enough pumpkin spice in the world to make Gavin like to brush his teeth.
Pumpkin spice toothpaste.
Pumpkin spice crest.
Anyway, as I approach 40, as a pirate looks at 40.
Yeah.
I went to the dentist, and again, like as I'm preparing this year-long preparation for 40, I'm like, okay.
That's when your teeth go, I hear.
Yeah, they just fall out like all my dreams.
They go soft. Got soft. Gavin's got soft teeth.
But I hated the dentist. Always hated the dentist.
Yeah.
But our good friend Kate, her mom is my dentist, Dr. Karen Park over in Lexington, and
shout out.
Clean bill of health, no cavities, everything's looking good. I have all my wisdom teeth. They're all crowded in there. They love being in there.
That's why you're so smart.
It's 4 liabilities in my opinion. Dabs out. I got some new flossers. I know we don't like them. There's so much plastic, but I got some good wide flossers.
I have some biodegradable vegan flossers. I can hook you up.
Just watch some compost.
Yep.
But I also got myself an electric toothbrush.
Okay.
Adult purchase.
That's a big adult purchase.
I know, and I think part of it too is that I press too hard when I brush my teeth.
We all
That's
do.
not good for
We
your
all do.
gums.
I
blah
love it.
blah blah. I don't have any sensitivity yet.
If you can't press to brush your teeth,
I know. I feel very lazy. What am I doing?
Are you cleaning at all?
That was always my question, right? So now that I'm weeks into this experience,
Yes.
after spending the $50 on my Oral-B, which I love, one more thing to charge.
Yeah.
It does decent enough.
Decent.
Yeah, it's decent. I mean, I don't. You know when you run your tongue over your teeth to see if you feel anything? It's not there. Like I don't have any issues with any plaque or any film.
Thank God.
But
thank God.
I do like it because it's a 2-minute timer, so you were brushing for a solid 2 minutes.
Okay.
And you do feel lazy.
I'm so happy for you. I think
I also got mouthwash.
I've been using mouthwash for a long time. I think the only oral care greater adult purchase is the water pick.
Yeah, but I
have some friends with water picks.
But I feel like it's like buying a juicer, which I can attest to, which I'm keeping up with, but it's hard to do the water pick, I feel like. And it just reminds me of my grandfather. And what do I need a water pick for? I have flossers. I don't need
water picks.
Water pick, just old man right there.
You're throwing money out. I
What's
feel
it like to throw away money, folks?
Honestly, the bidet of the mouth, right?
If you have a water pick, call us. We
the
need to know.
bidet of the mouth.
Well, and then you're filling it up. I hate filling up my Brita filter. So, and I have another thing I want to talk about.
Sure.
And that's
Pivot King.
Southern assimilation.
Yeah, it's very strong.
The
culture in the South is so strong. I'm worried about how Southern Rena will be. I'm scared. Okay. I want her to be a Jersey gal, and she's going to be a Carolina girl.
I have thought about this. Oh, my God, no.
But what were you going to say? I'm scared.
That's going to be our ongoing assimilation.
Yeah.
My thing with the new Subaru purchase, you got a new car, you want to keep it looking tight. Sure. I have now...
No, don't. I think I know. No.
Got a monthly car wash.
No! No,
it's only $25. It could be $18, but I'm springing for the Carnubo Carnubo wax. 18 head and hands. This man,
I think that car washes,
I know,
unmanned car washes,
hate them. I know,
are a blight on this land. Whenever there is a new construction happening
car wash,
or a one-person coffee place, you know what I mean?
I know.
Why can't we have
I wish Toledo
a local bakery or something?
We have plenty of those.
Car wash.
Here's the car wash.
Oh, disgusting.
It's on Rosewood. It's on my way home. I see it. It shines to me.
It has an amazing view.
It does.
And you're just like, why is this a car? Why
it's also off of a 4-lane, 5-lane highway.
Why can't I sit here and sip an espresso or something? No, I can only
listen to the cars go by.
Sit in a car wash across from a car wash. Ugh.
They have a monthly subscription for
I hate
$20.
This for you.
But I park under trees.
I'm so glad you didn't tell me this earlier.
I know this is so fresh.
This
folks.
is better.
This is good. I knew because I knew we talk about the blight of car washes.
I hate them.
Oh, but they got the shiny colors, and I'm wasting water every week. But I didn't used to wash the Passat as much, and then it would start. I don't know. It just didn't look as fresh.
I thought
now I'm being a true Southerner. Where I'm getting my car washed all the time.
It's terrible.
It's looking fresh.
It's so bad.
It goes with the teeth. It's the same as the teeth.
This is an episode about
the teeth.
This is a wind down about washing, okay? Your insides, teeth, and outsides, car, okay? That's all this is about. I hate this, Gavin. I hate this.
I love this. This is perfect.
It's so
This
bad.
is what you tune in for, folks. These are the podcasts that you wish you could find elsewhere. You can't. You can only find it.
Now, the worst part is I'm going to have to listen to this all over again when I edit it. Anyway, Gavin, do the outro, please. Thank you, folks.
Call us from a car wash. Weighing on pumpkin spice, things like Michelle. We love hearing from you guys. 803-563-7169. Any Southern assimilation, we would love to hear about it, as triggering as it may be. And of course, you can always show us your appreciation by leaving us a review on Apple Podcasts, or like we said, a voicemail 803-563-7169. And you can stay up to date with the latest news on SCETV.org and SouthCarolinaPublicRadio.org. And don't forget to support your local newspapers. The South Carolina Lede is a production of South Carolina Public Radio. Our producer is A.T. Shire. Amy Crouch is our supervising producer. Sean Birch is our executive producer. This podcast is produced with support from PRX and is made possible in part by a grant from the John S. and James L. Knight Foundation, as well as listener contributions to the ETV Endowment of South Carolina. For the South Carolina Lede, I'm Gavin Jackson. Be well, South Carolina. I got plenty of material.
No, I can do stand-up if I want.
I mean, I can do it. I also just think...
Do you think I could, though?
I mean, your opinion, I mean, you think
Do you think I could, though?
Be real.